Welcome back. Today, our explainer is heading high up into the western Ghats of Tamil Nadu to explore a truly fascinating place. It's affectionately known as the Princess of Hill Stations, Kodaikanal. We're going to completely unpack the layered, totally captivating history of this mountain retreat. We'll peel back the timeline to see exactly how it morphed from a quiet woodland into the complex, bustling destination it is today.
Okay, let's dive into this because the very name of the town sets the perfect stage for our journey. It's a beautifully descriptive Tamil name. You see, Kodai translates to summer, and Kanal means forest or, dense woodland. Put them together and it's frequently interpreted as the gift of the forest or forest of summer. Sounds incredibly idyllic, right? But as we're going to see, what humans actually did with this gift is a story of profound and ongoing change.
Part 1. Ancient Roots and Tribes. Now, long before anyone was buying homemade chocolates or taking boat rides on an artificial lake, these mountains were a deeply rooted sanctuary. It's absolutely crucial to remember this wasn't just some empty wilderness waiting to be discovered. The Palani Hills were inhabited for centuries by indigenous tribal communities, particularly the Palai people. And actually, scratch that, the human footprint goes back even further. We have archaeological remains right in this region, things like ancient dolmens and burial sites that suggest thousands of years of continuous human habitation. So this region held deep, profound cultural significance way before any modern development took root.
To get a real vivid picture of what this pristine environment actually felt like back then, we can turn to ancient texts. Ancient Tamil Sangam literature beautifully describes this mountainous region as a Karinji landscape. Just imagine an untouched world overflowing with dense forests, cascading waterfalls, towering bamboo, fragrant sandalwood, and just abundant native wildlife. That was the original gift of the forest in its purest, most absolute form.
All right, moving on to Part 2, the Colonial Hill Station.
This is where the trajectory of Kodaikanal shifts drastically. Mid-19th century, British officials and American missionaries arrive. And to understand why they came here, you really just have to think about the stark contrast in environments. Down below, you had the blistering heat and tropical diseases of the plains. It was a harsh, unforgiving environment. But on the other hand, just up the mountainside, you had the cool climate, breathtaking scenic beauty, and the dense, protective woodlands of the Palani Hills. They were absolutely desperate to build a refuge from the heat and illness. And this spot, it was the perfect escape.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because once they arrived, they worked incredibly fast to reshape the area. In 1821, British survey officer L.T.B.S. Ward first explored and formally reported on the hills. Fast forward to 1845, and modern Kodaikanal was officially being developed. Then, in 1863, this is wild, a massive geographical change happened. Surveyor Henry Levinge oversaw the creation of an artificial, star-shaped lake, which is the famous Kodai Lake we know today. And by 1899, they were already establishing the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory. The town just grew like wildfire.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how human intervention physically transformed the ecology itself. We aren't just talking about putting up buildings. Remember that ancient native landscape we just talked about, the Karinji flowers, the bamboo, the sandalwood? Well, the British residents aggressively introduced their own preferred species. They brought in eucalyptus, pine, and wattle trees. So literally, the very look, smell, and ecological makeup of the forest was fundamentally altered.
Which brings us to a real plot twist. Part 3, a hub for solar science.
This is such a brilliant surprise in Kodaikanal's history. It didn't just remain a sleepy summer vacation spot. Think about this milestone. Built in 1899, the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory quickly became a literal powerhouse of scientific discovery. In 1909, scientists working right there, up in the clouds, discovered the famous Evershed effect. This was a massive breakthrough in understanding the movement of gases in sunspots. No way, right? Major high-level science happening right up in the Palani Hills. It completely elevated the town's global importance.
So you might be wondering, what exactly happened to this quiet, scientific, and colonial retreat after Indian independence?
Well, let's get into our final chapter. Part 4, Modern Tourism and Toxic Trials.
In the decades following Indian independence, Kodaikanal expanded dramatically. And that resulted in a very complex, dual reality that really defines the town today. First, let's look at the boom. Today, it is a massive, bustling tourist destination. People flock here for the iconic Kodai Lake. They come to wander through those dense, imported pine forests and marvel at the giant pillar rocks. They're hoping to catch a rare bloom of the native Karinji flowers, or grab some of that famous homemade chocolate, or attend the prestigious international boarding schools up there.
The local economy absolutely thrives on this influx.
And this brilliantly illustrates the tension at the heart of modern Kodaikanal. It's really a tale of two realities. On one hand, you have the boom, a major tourist destination, scenic landmarks, thriving economy. But then you have the gritty reality. In recent decades, the town has become a massive flashpoint for environmental activism. There have been serious, ongoing campaigns regarding mercury pollution left behind by a former thermometer factory in the area. It is a stark reminder that a heavy human footprint almost always comes with incredibly complex environmental challenges.
Which leaves us with a pretty big final question. We started with ancient tribes in a pristine landscape, moved through aggressive colonial restructuring, high-level solar science, and now a modern tourist boom with serious environmental stakes. How does the gift of the forest balance its pristine ancient history with the heavy footprint of modern humanity? It's a question without an easy answer, but understanding these distinct historical layers is the very first step. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer. I really hope it gave you a whole new perspective on this fascinating place. Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.